Yo, before we even get started with this episode of the Love Works podcast, I just wanna hit you up with some dope, juicy information. My pastor, Pastor Christine Winya, just released a book called Fear Gone. You can go ahead and check it out on Amazon. And maybe you don't even like reading, but hey, guess what? You can still buy the book to just smell the pages because it smells like a new book. And we all like a good new book smell, along with some people like the smell of gasoline. I'm one of those people. And essential oils, those are good smells too. But hey, this book's gonna transform your life. Check it out. I'm excited to hear what you think about it. Peace. Enjoy the episode. What is up, everybody? This is the Love Works podcast, and this is a good episode. We've got a new guest, a first-time guest, a guest that I'm actually meeting pretty much with you right now in this moment. And so I've never seen his face before until probably 14 or 15, 17 minutes ago, something like that. And we've been chatting it up. We've been figuring out technological things. He's in the school of the college. He's in the Virginias, which is kind of cool because I've never been to Virginias except for today. And he makes music. He's a music maker, a music man, the man that does the music, and it's all on the line. So check it out. I'm with my man, Sam Wall. How are you doing, bro?
What's up? I'm good, dude. How are you?
Dude, I'm feeling good, dude. I'm so excited about this.
Me too, man.
Yeah, dude. I traveled 11 hours for this one.
Heck yeah, dude.
That's how passionate I am about this episode. So if
yeah.
you click off early, I'm gonna find you and I'm gonna hit you in the face.
Missing out.
Yeah,
missing out for sure.
You're missing out, Sam. So you make music, dude.
Yeah. Yep.
So what got you into music? Why are you passionate about music?
Yeah, I mean, music's something that's kind of always been in my life. My mom was a musician,
Nice.
as I was growing up, and my dad just had a guitar laying around the house. So we kind of picked it up, took lessons for a couple months, and then kind of started teaching myself. And then I just loved writing, so I just fell in love with writing songs, and kind of grew from there, making secular music for a long time, and now making Jesus music. So yeah,
you're a Jesus man.
A Jesus man.
So tell me about just Jesus finding you. When was this moment in your life? Oh man, I really need Jesus.
Yeah, man. So throughout my childhood, my parents were Christian, and my mom was super good about making sure that my family was involved with the faith and going to church and spending time together. But as I was growing up, I definitely believed in God, but was definitely a little distant from it.
Yeah.
And then there would be those, common spikes where every once in a while you'd be like, oh yeah, I'm going to live out my faith right now. And then a week later you're like, I'm just going to do whatever I want now.
Who's God? I don't even know who this man is.
Yeah, man. And so I came to college year and a half ago, and was just working through a lot of things, and feeling a lot of anxiety, and feeling a lot of really depressive episodes, just because I didn't really know how to deal with a lot of things, and was trying to figure myself out, and just had this big hole in my heart that I was trying to find a way to solve myself. And I went on this weekend trip with a group called Young Life to a camp called Rockbridge, which is also in Virginia.
Nice.
And they just talked about shame the whole weekend, and it struck me in this really weird way because I didn't know that I was like feeling all this shame. But like I felt really far from the Lord in the fact that just like I knew I was sinful, not specifically because of all these huge things, but because like I just felt undeserving of like this love that everybody talks about. Wow. And I think in just like somebody telling me that like I didn't need to feel that shame anymore, something shifted in my head, and it was like there's a guy named Bryce Crawford. I don't know if you know who he is.
Yeah, dude, I literally follow him on Instagram.
Awesome,
I actually
man.
used to think of him as like one of those, like, I was like, this guy seems so weird to me. And then I was like, wait, this guy's kind of cool. Like,
yeah.
And he's like our age, so it's awesome.
And something that he says a lot that I feel a lot is he says he had all this head knowledge, but it wasn't heart knowledge.
Wow.
And I think that weekend, like everything just shifted for me. It was like, this isn't just like this like God person that we've been talking about this whole time is like really wants real relationship, and just let all that shame fall away, and all that was left was that relationship to run after. And it was just like, I don't want to make anything but music for the Lord anymore.
Wow,
and
come
like,
on, man.
Yeah, just running ever since, dude.
I love that, man. So Jesus kind of got a hold of you. I love that you said like like the shame all went away, which then puts you in such this raw, like just raw version of yourself that's saying, you know what, Jesus, I fully need you.
Yeah.
Because right now I have nothing, and you already took away the shame. So please just take me. And it's like, man, Jesus like probably has this big smile on his face.
Yeah, man.
In those moments. I love that so much. All right, I've got a question. You're a musician. You do the music thing.
Do the music thing.
Everybody normally asks like, what's your favorite song that you did? What's your least favorite song? Like you put this out and you're like, oh man, I hope I never see this ever again.
Wow. So great question. I think probably the least favorite song of mine that I have is I've got this really old song on my first album, and it's called A Little Too Late. And it's not that I like dislike the song itself, but at the time I was like, how cool would it be to put out an album? So I was just like, I'm just going to like slap a bunch of recordings together and like put this out and like not care if it sounds good at all. And now listening back to it, I'm like, dude, this should be in the trash. Like it sounds so bad.
Dude, I get that. It's probably how people think of like my podcast. They're probably like, this guy sucks. Put this in the trash, man. Bro.
Nah, man.
No, that's good. Yeah, okay. So it's called A Little Too Late.
Yeah.
So everybody go check out A Little Too Late.
Yeah, go run up the streams on A Little Too Late. For sure.
Dude, that's cool. So out of all your songs, I'm going to just kind of jump into a lot of things. Out of all your songs, what song do you like most relate to? You're like, man, this song just is so close to me.
Yeah. I mean, there's probably a couple. I Will Never Be the Same is one that I've always like really cared about because it's actually like a cover song. So it's the song that like really helped me in my faith and was one of like the turning moments in my faith. But that song is awesome, by the way, dude. Oh, so thanks, dude. So you didn't write it, so like somebody else wrote it and then you covered it. Dude, you crushed that song. I love all the vibes in that song. Thanks, man. Yeah. And then I've got an original song that came out not too long ago called Safe and Sound.
Also slaps. Those are probably my two favorites.
Thanks,
for sure.
man.
Yeah.
But I really love that one because it talks a lot about a lot of the struggles that I have felt within my faith as it's grown and grown of just like realizing that like the Lord doesn't only want the good things, but like he wants you to cry out in your need, which is something that it's been just like a great reminder to have that song, which is awesome.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, please.
So when it comes to being at that low spot, I feel like people, Christians especially, don't talk about it. Being in those low moments in life, one, how did you get out? And two, did music play a part in that?
Yeah, man.
And you could talk about the low moment too. I don't want to pry, but do it. You know, you have to talk about it. I'm just kidding.
No, there was definitely some big low moments. the moment before I like really came to my faith was definitely like a big low moment. I was like super lost at school and like was trying to find all these different things to fix it, and like was in this like relationship at the time that was like not fulfilling me, and like spending all of my time there, and in friendships with people that like wouldn't be there for me if I needed them, and all this different stuff. Had like pretty much stopped going to church, and like all these different things, and like was just really far away from the Lord. And looking back now, like was really separating myself from him in a lot of ways. And music did play a huge part. I think that weekend that I went on that trip that I was talking about, a big part for me in breaking down the walls of me like hearing a lot of things is music, because music just like hits me differently in a lot of ways. I think there's some people that will like in the context of like going to a church, there's certain people that will like relate the most to maybe like the preaching and the sermon, or people that will relate the most to like worship and like all that different stuff. And music has just always been something that strikes me really deep in my heart. And then that weekend they sang I Will Never Be the Same like a bunch of times, and it just really started stirring my heart to be like, hey, you got to be listening, and like really led me to like hearing all those messages about shame and the lifting of burden. And I would love to be like, this is exactly how I got myself out of the hole and like all that stuff. But really, the biggest factor was just like, I realized that I didn't need that shame anymore. And I was immediately like on my knees in prayer and just like being like, Lord, I know that you're faithful, and I know that you're there, and I know you want to take the shame from me. Like, take away this anxiety, and like take away this depression, and like all this different stuff. And in that, he really showed me that part of why I felt that way so much was just the way I was living my life. And like as soon as that changed, like came home, started going to church, like got out of this relationship that was really hurting me, started seeking like deeper friendships, and like immediately it was just like seeing the Lord in everything, and like really seeking out that higher life that, you know, we're called to, and like really helping me through that anxiety. And like not to say there hasn't been anxiety since, but like there's such a better outlet for all that anxiety, and like really somewhere to run to. So I've just been really grateful for that.
So mental health is a massive pandemic in our culture right now. We're seeing people literally dying or even committing suicide, which is so insanely heartbreaking because of that. Has mental health played a part in any music you've made, or even just like in your life, man? Like, I want to know, like, we're young, like this is real for us.
Man.
And we're both in a creative industry. And so, do you battle with it? Do you fight with it? How do you get through it?
Yeah, I mean, mental health is like such a huge struggle and such like a complicated issue, just because like there's all these people that like think that it's a non-issue, and like people are wrestling with those other people, and it's causing all this division, and that just makes people's mental health even like worse. And it's really complicated. I would say my mental health struggle, a lot of it was internal. I think for me, this anxiety that I was feeling was because I was like giving myself all of these reasons to be anxious all the time. And that's not to say that, you know, like if you're feeling anxious, you can be like, oh, it's just because I decided to feel that way, because that's not always the case. But for me, it was definitely like this huge issue of like not knowing who I am, and like not knowing my identity. And I think that's where a lot of like anxiety roots itself, in like insecurity and feeling a need to like know who you are. And I think that's why like I cling on to like Jesus so much. And like I still struggle with some things. Like I still get anxious, and like I still have a hard time with a lot of things. But like I think when we know that our identity is rooted in our Father, then like there's no need to like be scared or anxious in trying to navigate, because like we're called to be bold and live knowing who our Father is.
That's dope, man. I love that so much. For somebody that's out there right now, because like you're gung ho in this, man. You're gung ho in ministry, because what you're doing is ministry, by the way, and
Thanks,
and you're gung ho and saying, you know what, Jesus is real. I love Jesus. You kind of remind me of Bryce Crawford a little bit too, just in how
Thanks, man.
how you live your life. And dude, like, what would you tell somebody that's questioning Jesus right now? Because the reality of what this podcast is like, I don't brand it as a Christian podcast. Yes, I will have Christians on. Yes, we will talk about Jesus. There will be episodes we might not talk about Jesus, but we're going to talk about other things that I find important. And so, what would you say to somebody that is questioning Jesus?
I mean, the reality is like Jesus is not only something that like people need faith to believe in, but like Jesus was like a real person, like historically,
right?
Which we know. And the hard part in believing that is like, we know Jesus was real, we know he was crucified, and like the big toss up of Christianity is like the resurrection. So like if Jesus didn't like rise from the dead, then what is our faith? And something that I would like, for somebody that's questioning the reality of who Jesus is, first of all, would be to like, everything around us is like so complex and like built on such crazy things. And I pulled up a verse earlier just in case I needed to pull it out, and I'm gonna pull it up.
Pull it out, man. Big fan of that.
Yeah, Acts 4:12 and 13.
Man, we're preaching now. Come on, Acts 4:12 and 13.
In this section, Peter and John are preaching to the people of Israel, and they get taken by these religious officials, and they're being questioned. And Peter says this. He says, "Salvation is found in no one else, because there is no other name under heaven given to mankind by which we can be saved." And when they saw the courage of Peter and John, they realized that they were unschooled, ordinary men, and they were astonished, and they took note that these men had been with Jesus.
Wow.
And the reason that I would use that to talk to somebody who is questioning who Jesus is just because you can tell when the Spirit is within somebody.
Right.
And it's so evident. And it's not just because somebody's deciding to live differently. It's because they're living differently in relationship with someone that's greater than we are.
Right.
And so I would say, first of all, diving into like historical evidence, like that's a great place to start.
Oh, dude.
And then after that, like jump in your faith, like read the scriptures, like it'll change your life like radically.
Dude, I love that. Did you ever have like a job that you wanted to do before you became did like music full time?
Yeah, man. So I actually, growing up, I wanted to be somebody that wrote books. Like I wanted to be like an author.
Okay. Yeah, you said somebody that wrote books, and I'm like, that's called an author.
Yeah.
I was like, does he know? I don't know if he knows.
I wanted to be an author really bad.
Okay.
And then in attempts to write books, I was like, I can't write 300 pages.
Yeah.
So I was like, let me write a 3-minute song instead.
Okay.
And so that's kind of how it evolved. But even before that, I had this dream of like just buying cameras and like directing movies and stuff, which isn't exactly how that works. But like I get to do some of that now, which is awesome because I get to like make all these videos and create narratives around music, which is sweet. So
yeah, dude, you're good at the content creation in general.
Thanks, man.
So tell me about your family a little bit. Like, did you grow up in a Christian household? Is that something that you like claim? Are you close with your family? What are some of the struggles within your family, man?
Yeah. So me and my family, excuse me, we're pretty tight knit. So I was born into a Christian household. Both my parents are Christian. And pretty soon after I was born, my parents were like training for missions, and so we lived in Senegal, which is in Western Africa, for like a while before my mom got typhoid and malaria, and they can't treat that there. So came right back home, and yeah, my mom has always like been such a huge encouragement in the faith side of things, and like pushing me to pursue my faith. My parents got divorced when I was pretty young, which caused me and my family to get a lot closer, and kind of start.
That's unique because I think it can go one way or the other.
Yeah, I think it can definitely like separate in a big way, and it's hard to find people that are anywhere in the middle. It either like drives people a lot closer or drives them further apart. And I'm super lucky to have like a great relationship with my dad now. Yeah. He's like one of my closest friends.
Oh, that's awesome, man. You don't hear that often either.
Yeah.
To hear a son be close friends with his father, that's heartbreaking. But I am so close to my mom, so I get the being related to your mom. That's dope. That's dope.
So I feel pretty lucky in that sense. But just grew up moving around a lot with my family under like crazy circumstances, and like staying close together for that reason too. My mom like absolutely grinding to like help out our family, and then had a bunch of health issues with my siblings growing up, and so just trying to keep the family afloat and like working like really hard. And because of that, we just got really, really close, and I'm super close with them now. My brother goes to school with me. He lives down the street over there, which is awesome. That's awesome. And feel really lucky in that sense. So.
Dude, so we're in Virginia right now, Richmond, Virginia. So 11 hours away from where I live.
Oh yeah.
I'm so pumped about being here too. Like I wouldn't, whenever like, and I'll say this just as it is. Like, I was planning out episodes, trying to figure out who was on next, and you had come across my page before, and I shot you a message, was like, dope music, bro, keep up the good work, and didn't think much of it, and then I was like, I saw your post again, I was like, oh, dude, still dope music, hey, want to be on the podcast, and within 2 minutes probably, maybe less than that, like it was like 45 seconds, he was like, yes, Aaron, let's do it, and I was like, okay, I didn't think he would even reply, like some people don't reply. But you're the only person I reached out to because I believed that this could be an episode that would transform people's lives. Like, at the end of the day, like, let's do something that impacts people, and I'm willing to take those steps, even if it's an 11-hour drive. What story? Oh, wait, I meant to tell you. Shoot, I'm not transitioning the questions. We're in Richmond, Virginia right now, which, by the way, is the dopest place in the world. Like, I thought Virginia, when I heard Virginia, I was like, what the heck is it just rocks? Like, what is Virginia? Do we got trees or something here? Like, what's going on in this place? But, dude, like, all the way from Pennsylvania, the drive, and then coming in here, I'm like, I feel like I'm in Chicago. Yeah, I literally was like, this feels like Chicago, which is closer to where I'm from. But, do you enjoy it here in Richmond?
Yeah, man, I love it. I love being in the city, which is great. I like the area of Virginia that I like grew up in is called Roanoke, Virginia, and that's all mountains. Like it's pretty small. And then from there in high school, moved to Virginia Beach, which is like all flat land and like pretty populated, but like definitely super different. And then now I get to live in the city, which is awesome. There's people everywhere, and like you can walk like literally anywhere, and like it's super sick. So I've been really loving it. I love being able to like be connected to so many places and live somewhere with so many people to reach, and like it's been awesome.
Great opportunity for literally anything. There's so many people here. I loved driving around. Before I came here, I just drove around the city and was just like, I loved seeing everybody's face. This is a beautiful city, and man, it's awesome. I'm glad you're here, and it's awesome. So, what story do you want to share with the world through your music?
I mean, I just want to share the story that I was telling you about earlier of just like this huge hole that I felt in my heart, and like trying to fill that, and it could only be filled by the Lord. And not to keep talking about all the Christianity stuff, but like I feel like there's a lot of Christian music out in the world right now, and I think there's more and more every day, and there's more authentic Christian music every day. But I feel like that's a result of such a long time of like worship music being super one note, and like not really evolving, and just saying the same things. And I really want to chase making Christian music that's vulnerable and is truthful, and part of that is going to be like, hey, here's what I'm struggling with right now, and like here's what's hard, which doesn't mean every song is going to be like just talking about like the grace of God, because there's going to be some times where things are complicated, and things get vulnerable, and I intend to be able to share with people that Jesus shows up in every corner, and so whether the song is happy or sad, like Jesus is there through it all. So
that's dope.
Yeah.
Who's your biggest influence in the music world?
In the music world, outside of the Christian music space, I love Noah Kahan.
Noah Kahan's dope.
I love his music, his vulnerability, his writing. He's really incredible. He is super vulnerable in his music in a way that I think a lot of people hadn't heard or adjusted to before him, which is why he broke onto the scene in such a crazy way, because he had been putting out music for such a long time, but like the response to his newer music was just insane. And I think that's just because people were like searching for somebody that's that vulnerable, and so definitely super affected by that. And then in the Christian music space, there's a guy named Josiah Queen who makes Christian folk music me.
I know Josiah Queen.
And
he's on next. No, I'm just playing.
He's an awesome guy.
Yeah.
I had a little back and forth conversation with him. Not a long conversation, but he's just a super great guy, and like really yearns after the Lord, and like he's just like really, really has a really strong heart for being vulnerable and searching for the Lord through every corner, and I really, really admire that. So
yeah, man, he makes great music. The song "I Am Barabbas," dude, that song's
so good, dude.
Yeah, it's a great song,
really good.
That was my first introduction to him, and I was like, because I used to preach, and I loved the story of Barabbas. Like, it's just that's me. I am that, and that's beautiful. All right, so Noah Kahan. Josiah Queen. Those are the people that you kind of admire just because of how they're doing this. At what point did you know music was yours? Like, so you said you wanted to be an author, and then it kind of transformed into that. But when did you say, man, I'm doing this for sure now?
I mean, my junior, senior year of high school, I started like kind of figuring out how I could make music, which was a big step. And then once I was like, okay, I can like produce a little bit of music and like all that stuff, I was like, maybe I'll do it as like a side thing one day. And then really the big shift happened when my music itself shifted. Probably it was back in October, so 6 months ago. I went to a Brandon Lake concert.
Big fan.
Yeah.
Big fan.
So I went to a Brandon Lake concert, and I was mostly there for the opener, which is a guy named Benjamin William Hastings. Who I also love.
That is the first time I've ever heard anybody say, I'm going to a Brandon Lake concert for the opener. I don't even care about the opener for Brandon Lake. I'm like, let me see the man that's won every Grammy in the world.
I mean, I love Brandon Lake. At the time, I had like not heard that many of his songs. I had heard like the Maverick City songs, and then like Gratitude, and
big Maverick City fan too.
I was like, dope, he's coming, tickets are pretty cheap, like I'll go. But I loved the guy that was opening, and I left just like a massive Brandon Lake fan. I've listened to everything he does now. But I went to this concert, and I was like sitting in like the lawn area, so like all the way in the back, and just like seeing like a couple thousand people that were just like rejoicing in the Lord and sorrowful and joyful and grieving all together. And I was just like, this is how life is supposed to be.
Wow.
And so it really like radically shifted my perspective. And I know I keep saying that things are radically changed over and over, but I've just life has been crazy in that way, in which I've been fortunate enough to like have all these big changes. But like I went to this concert and I just left like, this is what I'm doing and I'm going to get there.
Come on.
And so just started.
I love that you said, I'm going to get there. We need more people saying, I'm going to do this.
Yeah, man. We're going to get there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just going to keep chasing it until one day we're gonna do it full time. Just like one day you're gonna make this podcast a big thing, and
thank you.
We're gonna get there together. We're gonna grow, and it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. We were talking whenever I got here, and I was like, honestly, on my whole ride up here, I was like, I wasn't nervous about it. I was like, people are like, are you sure you're not gonna get murdered? And I'm like, I hope not. If I do, like, good story. But
tell that one later.
Yeah, dude. When I'm up in heaven, I'll be like, yo, Jesus, you're not gonna believe what happened.
Don't send this guy up here.
Yeah, dude. Like, hey, man, please don't bring him back. I don't need to die again. But I was like, it just feels right that we're doing this. And I get in here and we're just talking. I'm like, yo, this guy's dope. Like, we're just chilling. And we're literally just like, I was like, we even like were troubleshooting, and I was like, all right, man, like I hate that this is happening. We're like just vibing in that whole process. It was a vibe. We're all vibing. Everything's a vibe. And the city's a vibe. The house is a vibe. It's all we're just vibing. Air's a vibe. I was like, I don't even know what I'm saying. My drink's a vibe. You ever had a white Monster before?
No.
Dude, it'll change your life.
You want to do a little product review right now?
Dude, go for it. Go for it. Oh, did you want me to product review it and tell you about it?
Yeah, give me a review.
Okay,
out of 10. Yeah,
you're not a drinker of the energy. So here we go. Product review. All right, so we're looking at the Monster of the White Monster, and it is tasty.
Zero sugar.
Yep, and zero sugar. Boom. Yeah. That's all you need to know.
Taste out of 10.
Like, I'd probably say like a 6, 5 or 6.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not my favorite. It actually kind of sucks. No, it's like I actually hate these things.
Don't even know why I'm drinking this thing.
Yeah, dude. It's like I don't know. It's just for discipline. It's like some people drink like green smoothies. They're like, oh man, this is good for you. I'm like,
you don't like that?
Yeah, I know that sucks.
Like, put down your LaCroix and go outside.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
Breathe some fresh air.
Yeah, like, why don't you drink, regular water or flavored water? That's way better than regular water. But why don't you drink that instead of, spicy things? Spicy water. It's terrible stuff. No, I actually kind of like LaCroix. I don't know why I'm dissing on them. You're a LaCroix drinker?
Dude, it's too much carbonation for so little taste.
Yeah, but the carbonation only lasts for like 45 seconds before the drink goes flat.
Maybe I need to open a LaCroix and let it sit for a couple minutes.
Yeah.
And then drink.
Then it's just water with the essence of flavor.
Okay. Maybe I need to give it another try.
Give it another try, bro. Give it another try. You told me earlier that like energy drinks make you like they don't even really do anything for you.
Yeah, I mean, caffeine just does not do too much for me. I don't drink a ton of caffeine, mostly because sometimes you just got to grind. But like I'm not really in a position right now where I need to grind all the time. And so It's like if I'm really like exhausted, that means I should probably be sleeping more.
Fair.
And so try not to mask it with anything, you know what I mean?
I get that. I drink it because I'm addicted. So
it's actually like a drug.
Dude. Like I have to have like 7 or 8 of these a day. Otherwise I don't know. I'll probably kick a cat or something. I don't know. Dude. I'm just not a good guy without them. Although I've never met somebody that drinks like the regular original Monsters that isn't just like borderline a psychopath, And I say that respectfully.
Like the little black and green can action.
Yeah, because that's like acid, And so if you're consuming acid on the regular, I feel like you probably got something deep down.
Yeah, you might have an issue.
You got a little bit of an issue, and I don't know. I just don't want to be behind closed doors with somebody like that. I just feel like I'm,
I can get behind that. I can get behind that.
Yeah, so I just drink the white ones. So I'm like almost, the guy that shouldn't be behind closed doors with other people, but it's whatever. So yeah, man. So do you have like a favorite type of water? Living water. I'm just kidding.
That's a great question. My favorite type of water, I drink a lot of tap water, but that's not really the move, is it?
Yeah.
I like when I feel like splurging a little bit. I like
Okay.
a good Life water.
Life water?
Yeah.
They got the cool like cups or whatever. So,
Yeah.
so.
Maybe put a little lemon in my water.
Okay, so you real bougie.
Oh yeah.
I like that.
Oh yeah.
I like that. So, tell me about like, do you want to stay in Richmond? Do you want to move somewhere else?
Yeah, I mean, I'm here for college right now. So once we snatch that degree, I might stick around here for a little bit, which would be sweet. It really, a lot of it does depend on like where music is at. So if music is doing really well, it could be really helpful to be somewhere like Nashville or like something like that. But for now, Richmond is great because it's just big enough that I can like do some shows and stuff.
Yeah, it's dope.
But it's not so small that like that there's no opportunity. So awesome. It's a great spot for me right now and where I'm at. So we're here for the next few years, and then we'll see where the Lord takes it. So
come on. So you're currently in school to do English.
Yeah.
And that sounds unbearably terrible. My mother was an English teacher, and I still hate it. So
I mean that's fair, man. It's a lot of essays. It's a lot of reading.
Oh, I bet.
And it's a lot of learning about a language that I learned when I was 5 years old.
Yeah.
So
is your course book the dictionary?
Dude, I wish. To clarify, cool. I didn't start speaking when I was 5 years old, but just thought I'd throw that out there.
You didn't? Wait, you didn't know how to speak at 5?
Earlier.
I
was saying something old? At a year old. Yeah. I would hope.
Yeah. I was like, dang, man. Hey, developmentally challenged. It's all right. It's whatever.
Hey, it happens.
It does. I couldn't read until like 2nd or 3rd grade. So.
Dang, dude. You really held out, bro. You held out, bro.
I didn't even get like held back or nothing, dude. I was like, they just kept pushing me by.
You were just breezing through.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't have my glasses on.
Yeah, dude. I would just like try and like trick the teachers into it. And I finally had one teacher that was like, "You're dumb. We're gonna help you learn how to read." And I will always remember her. Her name was Miss Hoover. So if you're listening to this, Miss Hoover, you're the true legend.
Miss Hoover.
Yeah. Also, my glasses are fake, bro. I just wear them so I can look cool.
There you go. Blue light
glasses. You got the real glasses.
I got the real thing. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. You're the real deal glasses.
Yeah, real deal blind for sure.
So you're just trying to figure out where your music will go. Is there a place that you're like, man, this would be so cool to do a concert there?
Yeah, I mean, dude, there's so many. There's the Ryman in Nashville is like a classic venue that's like really sweet. In California, there's the Troubadour. That's a sweet venue. Okay. But the goal right now is to do a bunch of small places. Okay. The goal with my music is to get it to a point in which I can go and like just play like a worship tour and like Dope. Just be in a room filled with people that like just want to worship and like that's really where my heart and my mind are right now. So like the goal is really just to like be able to play shows and have that be sustainable. Awesome. So yeah, that's where we're heading right now.
Dude, I could honestly see you traveling with somebody like Josiah Queen. That'd be dope.
That would be sweet, dude.
Y'all kind of got that vibe that I feel like would mesh well.
Josiah, if you're watching,
come on, Josiah,
take me on tour, bro.
And take me. I don't know what you're gonna use me for. I can smile really good.
You don't have to pay us. We'll just be there.
You don't have to pay.
Well, you might have to pay him.
You don't have to pay me.
He's a little high maintenance. He doesn't like eating ramen or beans.
That is true. I eat beans. I don't eat ramen. I don't stoop that low.
You don't have to worry about the beans, but
just a couple bags of beans. You don't have to keep them in the can.
We'll even drive ourselves. We don't need to be on the bus, bro.
I need to be on the bus. I need to be on the bus, dog. like I don't want to pay for all the gas. Like I know that we're doing this for free, but that gas is going to get crazy.
I'm not trying to get into deficit, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe just like at each show, we just need to be like, can you pay for us to get to the next city? And if not, we're just like, sorry, Josiah.
We're pretty much just groupies. We're like just chasing this man around. He's like, these guys are weird. Who are they? They think that they're supposed to come on stage every single time. No, y'all wouldn't. I don't think that it would be super cool to tour with somebody. I've never even tried that. It'd be cool to, a lot of these podcasters, they're like doing podcasts on tour now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man,
that's the dream right there.
That would be kind of a cool dream.
Dude, podcast with a live studio audience, bro?
Maybe, dude. Maybe we'll try it out. Hey, blow us up and we'll make it happen. All right, so tell me just, where do you see yourself in 5 years from now? Like, what do you want to be doing? What do you want to have done? How many more albums do you want to have out?
Yeah.
All the things, man.
5 years from now, I would love to have like 2 or 3 albums out by then. I would love to like be in a comfortable position in which like it's a full-time job and sustainable. I would love to be able to navigate and still be an independent artist through that. I'm an independent artist right now, which means that I own all my own music, but I am signed under a distribution deal, which means other people like get my songs to Spotify. Okay. So I'm still like exclusively owning my songs, but I'm also licensed in a distribution deal, which is sweet. Nice. So 5 years down the line, I would love to still be an independent artist, but have that be sustainable, and be able to like go and play shows and move through that. And yeah.
Do you think people jump the gun on that? Like, I see a lot of these artists. Like, we look at Taylor Swift because she went independent now too, right?
Yeah.
Because she had this label that pretty much was like stealing her money. Do you feel like a lot of these artists are jumping into these labels way too fast just for the money, or like what is the deal? I don't understand it.
Yeah, I mean, labels are really tricky. There's definitely some that people need to be really cautious about, especially the ones that'll grab you when you're a super small artist.
Right.
There's a lot of like merit to like learning how to like record your own music and mix your own music, master your own music. Be able to distribute on your own. Like, all of those are great things to learn because you can't know when somebody's tricking you unless you know how to do it yourself.
Wow, that's good.
And so it's I think my advice to independent artists, if there's any independent artists watching, is to learn to sustain yourself and then look towards labels. Because I think the first mistake that a lot of people make is they decide to get into music, and so they're just like looking up emails of like record labels, and they're like, I'll just send me playing my guitar to these people, and they'll pick you up and they'll give you in advance paycheck. They'll be like, hey, we'll give you $10,000 to sign this 3-year deal. And for a really small artist, you're like, they're going to give me $10,000. Why would I say no? Yeah. But then you're getting trapped into a deal of things that you don't understand and don't know. And so I do highly recommend like being independent. But when it comes to like record labels, the best thing that you can do is be able to know the game that they're playing so that you know when they're trying to trick you. So I think a lot of people jump the gun on record labels. Not to say that you can't get in a good record deal early on, but like there's a new lawsuit every single day with somebody in their record label, and like it's just insane.
That is insane. That's intense. So you want to be an independent artist. What are the type of people that you want to reach through your music? Like, who are you trying to say, man, I want this person to hear my song, even down to like, man, they're struggling with this exact thing, or man, they're walking through this exact situation, or they've got this exact family life.
Yeah. I mean, I want to reach, the goal with my music right now is to make music that can fit on any playlist. I feel like a lot of worship music, it's like people love worship music, but they're like, this needs to be on my worship playlist and like not on this. So I want to make music that can like pop up on a playlist and somebody's like, oh, this is great, whether they're Christian or not.
Right.
And I want to reach people that feel lost and feel like broken, and I want my music to not only be a place of comfort in knowing that like somebody else has felt that, but also like a solution, and something that's going to point them towards like the real solution and the sustainable solution. And so the goal right now is making music that reaches people that Jesus would reach for, because he came to seek and save the lost. And like so yeah, the goal right now is to make music that can reach anybody, not just Christians, not just people without faith, but people that are in deep need, which is all of us. So,
dude, that's dope. Yeah, man, we all do have this deep need, this deep, like, I would even say like craving, like our body craves these holes to be filled in our life. And what was a time when you were at a low moment where a song just hit you? Like, do you have a moment where like this song really got to you and it was like, man, this actually helped transform and save my life?
Yeah, I mean, so there's a really popular Christian song called "How He Loves."
Oh yeah, I know about that one.
I'm sure you know "How He Loves," but it's originally written by John Mark McMillan, and the story behind it is super crazy. I don't know if you know the story behind the song.
Is it the one where his wife passed away and they were on the boat or something?
No, it's.
Oh, I'm talking about a whole different thing.
It's somewhat similar.
It's like, oh, that's Moana. I'm just kidding.
No, that would be crazy. "How He Loves" by John Mark McMillan, inspired by Moana.
Exactly. Exactly.
He had like the first verse written, which goes like, "He is jealous for me, loves like a hurricane. I am a tree bending beneath the weight of his wind and mercy." And he had written it and kind of left it sitting, and then had a friend come over to his house that he hadn't seen in a while, named Steven. And this friend of his, like, they would just sit and talk for hours, and he played him the beginning of the song, and he was like, "This is the best thing you've ever written. Like, this is going to make you famous." Like,
wow.
All that stuff. And then that night, Steven was leaving John Mark McMillan's house, and he was like, goodbye, and like, he told him that he loved him, which is just not something that young dudes really do.
Yeah.
And then he got in his car and drove home and got in a car accident and passed away, really tragically. And John Mark McMillan sat down and wrote the rest of the song, and which is just insane to me, because it's just talking about God's love, and like writing that in suffering is just insane. And so I had a friend who got diagnosed with cancer about a year ago.
Yeah.
Well, they got diagnosed a lot earlier than a year ago, but it got really serious. And through navigating that, that song like popped up on a playlist for me.
Yeah.
And I heard it, and it just like washed over me like a tidal wave.
Yeah.
And just like gave me this like feeling of like relief, and like not even in the sense of like, oh, all these lyrics are specific to my situation, but in a way of just like, I know how this person felt, and I know that it's okay. And it like changed everything. Like it really changed the way that I look at music and the way that I'm writing. Even before I started making worship music, like the secular music I was making was just like, I want to make music that like is vulnerable in that sense of like, I don't even have to say like the exact thing that's going on for this person at home, but like I just have to say that like I understand that this hurts, and like
exactly,
he loves us anyways. So I would say that song.
Dude.
Long answer, but
Dude, I love the long answer, and that's powerful, man. Like we sometimes even forget, like, oh man, I'm hurting, I don't know what to turn to. Like, one, if you don't believe in Jesus, that's like, I'm not gonna be like, you've got to do this. Like, if that's not helpful.
Yeah.
But find those places where it's peaceful. And I feel like a lot of times music is that. So maybe even listen to songs like that. It's like, man, this is a song that's going to comfort me or bring me to a spot where it's like, yeah, it's going to be okay. Nobody in this world was meant to walk this life alone. That's ridiculous if you think you can. Because guess what? You're going to end up being super depressed, super anxious, and then you're going to be battling demons that you never even expected were going to be up front in front of your face.
Yeah.
And so I love that, man. What are some like thoughts, like closing thoughts as we kind of wrap things around? Like things that if you could tell the world this, what do you want to tell them?
Yeah, I mean, anxiety is not the nail in the coffin is the first thing that I would say. And I feel like we were talking earlier about mental health and like all this different stuff, and just like it can make life feel so claustrophobic and so scary and dark. And it feels like when you get anxious and there's this big attack from the enemy, it's just like, this is the nail in my coffin, and like I can't do this anymore. And it's not permanent, and like making a decision because of it is permanent, and like it's something that you can't avoid, and so many people fall into. So that's the first thing I'd say. And then also, like, whether you're a believer or not a believer, Christian or not Christian, everybody feels something in their heart that is like yearning for life that feels full. And I would encourage people to like just lean into that and find out why. And like, you don't have to decide that it's because you need Jesus, but you have to figure out what the problem is. And like, we have to move forward so that we can like love people and love each other. And something that we were talking about earlier is just like, before we even started rolling, is like, the biggest way that you can show somebody who you are and how you feel about them is to just love them before anything else.
That's true.
And so, yeah, I would say find out where you feel like you need something and address it with love and concern, and move forward with people that care about you, and like love other people, and like it's going to like yield so much reward. So
wow, I'm gonna share this story. My mom doesn't even know this story, but I feel like it's impactful. I remember I had literally just, like, this is like super vulnerable. I remember I had just gotten grounded. I literally still had porn pulled up on my phone. And my mom has my phone in her room, and it was at a place in my life I was like, I can't take it anymore. I'm not going to be able to do this life anymore. I'm depressed. I'm literally addicted to this beyond measure. People say like 2 a days in football, you know, like bro, I was watching porn. I was grinding. If pornography was a grind, I was the top tier dog. And it's a true addiction. But I remember being in that moment. I'm like, I've got to get rid of this. I've got to get rid of myself. Like, how do I eliminate this? I've got to commit suicide. And so I had just these thoughts like impaling my mind, and I literally go over to like the kitchen. I have this knife in my hand, and I remember my mom walks out, and I just kind of like toss it away, and I'm like cringing, like it was like just a supernatural weird thing, but I'm like cringing and tightening up, and like I'm crying so much. And fast forward, get caught with porn in such a wild way, super embarrassing way, and really just a bunch of sexual things in a lot of different ways I got caught with, and drugs, alcohol, all the different things, you know, everything that is like the dream for the high school guy, and more. And I remember my mom showing me so much grace, and it transformed my life. It seriously did, because she redid my whole room. It was a beautiful thing. I've talked about this a little bit on the podcast, but I never really tapped into the suicidal part of it. But I want to let you know, like, when you really, like, when somebody meets you with love, for somebody out there that's like always angry or something, when someone meets you with love, that is going to transform your mind, and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I can do it. I can get one more day in. I can do it just a little bit longer. I'm cared for. Maybe somebody's there for me. So for the person that's hurting, somebody loves you. For the person that doesn't feel like they're able to love, maybe start finding that song that just gets to you, you know? Find that song that gets to you. And
wow, man. Thanks for
love
sharing
them.
that.
Yeah. So I feel like I'm preaching now. I'm not even supposed to be preaching, you know, you just, but man, this has been an awesome episode. Any other thoughts that you want to throw out there before we close this thing out?
Dude, it's just been like such a blessing for you to like drive all the way in here, and I really appreciate you setting aside the time, and I'm like really happy that this friendship is here now.
Dude,
and yeah,
we're here now. We're here. More to come with Sam Wall. Check out his music. Tell him your Instagram at.
My @ on Instagram is samwall_music.
Boom.
Same on TikTok, and my music is just under Sam Wall. So.
Yeah, check out Sam Wall. If you see a 0.5 picture, that's him. So, yeah, dude. This has been awesome. Thank y'all so much for listening. Thank you, Sam, for being on this episode. This is the Love Works podcast, and this was a good episode. Peace out.